He's credited with establishing the first Department of Information Technology in the country in the state of Andhra Pradesh. The architect of National E-Governance Plan is also referred as Father of E-Governance in India. Winner of Prime Minister's Award for Public Services, he had resigned from Joint Secretary E-Governance to Secretary IT in the Government of India. You guessed it right, I am talking about R. Chandrasekhar, the foundation of e-governance in India. Mr. Chandrasekhar, welcome to the Governance Now.
Thank you.
Sir, it has been 8 years since you joined Department of IT. What had been the journey so far, sir?
I think we've come a very long way over the last 8 years. Starting from a situation where there were some isolated examples of use of technology in the government, which had produced tangible benefits for people outside the government. We have now a situation where there is well articulated and well understood game plan for e-governance across the country, across the various tiers of government, across the various departments, and one in which the roles of multiplicity of players, a whole plethora of organizations, each of which have a definite role, has been spelled out and articulated, and where all of these different players play their own part, while at the same time moving towards a common goal. The second thing is that the goal also has now been defined in such a way that it makes sense to citizens and businesses outside the government, and at the same time within the government it is generic enough for it to apply across all departments irrespective of the nature of the department.
So, what have been the achievements of the National E-Governance Plan and various mission mode projects as well?
Today, under the National E-Governance Plan, as I mentioned, the first and foremost, there are two major elements of the National E-Governance Plan. The first is the creation of a digital service delivery platform, which provides a base on which the digital services ride, and a lot of this is shared across departments, and of course supplemented with some amount of infrastructure within the departments. That part is largely ready across most of the states. We have at least 20 states which already have a statewide area network going down up to the blocks. We have more than 70 to 75% of the 100,000 CSCs on the ground. A lot of the data centers have started the activity, and we expect that over the next 1 year they will come into operation. In most of the states, the process of setting up a state e-service delivery gateway and setting up of the state portals has either been completed or is well underway. These constitute the basic building blocks. The second is the actual services themselves, and today, thanks to some of this groundwork, many of the states have actually now understood and assimilated and not only bought into the whole game plan, but are actually driving it with an energy of their own. And that is exactly, I think, the kind of thing that we were actually hoping for, because the very nature of the e-governance today, it is more about transformation in the governance and not about just use of technology. And transformation can only be driven by the government itself. And therefore, the fact that many states like Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and a number of other states have actually started proactively driving the services, notifying a list of services, notifying the dates by which these services must be made available, making it mandatory for these services to be provided electronically. All of these, I think, are signs that the acceleration is increasing.
Sir, but there have been a couple of delays also, like the CSC project,
Yes.
Passport Seva, EBIS.
Yes.
So, how do you look at those delays, sir?
I think that undoubtedly there have been delays. I don't think there can be any two opinions on that. But I think the way that we look at it, that when you are looking at transformation in the government, and when you are looking at changing the entire way government performs its business and the way it relates to citizens, there are many issues and hurdles which one has to overcome. And many, if not most of these, are not technology related per se. They are related to the manner in which those departments function. They are related to various interests which exist inside and outside the government. And every department has to work out its own way of dealing with those issues as a part of their change management strategy. So sometimes these do cause delays. So if there are small delays, then I think that is not something that we would be unduly concerned about. But if because of these problems a project has deviated or got sidetracked from the core objectives and purpose, that is something which should be a much greater cause for concern. So in other words, if a project is somewhat delayed while remaining on track, that is a cause for concern but not undue alarm. However, if a project is getting either unduly delayed or stranded, or has got thrown off its track, those are the areas where we would be perhaps have much more reason to be concerned.
Sir, but there have been a couple of rollbacks also, like 3i and Comet walked out of CSC project. So, was there something wrong with the PPP modeling there?
No, I don't think there was anything wrong with the PPP modeling. I think the fact that 3i and Comet have moved out of this business is perhaps an indication that either they were not fully prepared or they may have misread the market, because in the nature of a PPP, there is a certain amount of business risk which is involved in the activity. And each company and each organization has to make a calculated assessment of those business risks. So, and as you may be aware, in the course of the CSC bidding, players had bid fairly aggressively. And I think from at one level that is a desirable thing from the government point of view. But at another level, perhaps in the course of competition, some of them may have misread the business potential. But the fact is that the Comet and 3i together account for only a small fraction of the number of CSCs. And there are other players who can easily take over the CSC which they have set up. The other aspect of that is that those CSCs which were set up by them, since they are village level entrepreneurs, the CSCs themselves as physical entities still exist on the ground, and all that happens is that some other player steps into the void and provides them the support.